On today's Toy Spot, we're going to be looking at the Justice League Unlimited figure stands. These stands are released through MattyCollector.com. You can also pick them up. I believe you could have picked them up originally through Big Bad Toy Store. I think they have since sold out, so really the only way you can get them is through Matty Collector, or of course eBay as well. If you're a fan of Justice League Unlimited figures, you've collected them, you know that a lot of times the figures that you have, based on how small their feet are or the way that they're positioned, especially with the females, don't always stand. So this is a must-have. As you can see, it comes in a white box. Comes with 25 stands too, and I think the stands are about $12 on Matty Collector. So what we'll do, we'll get Old Red here, and we'll just get this opened up. Figured I'd open this up on camera for you guys, so you guys can see the goodness. Also on the side gives you a instructions, not really much of an instruction, but just kind of shows you that there are two different slots, one for male, one for female, and then there is a pegged hole for female figures only. But of course we'll get into that in a second. Just going to open this up first. Let's see, yeah, I can open it from the side. And inside you'll see, looks like a bunch of poker chips. It's not poker chips. What you'll get inside. Just put this here for a second. What you get is a really nice blue stand. Blue stand for your Justice League Unlimited figures. It says trademark DC Comics made in China. I like the fact that they've put this nice embossed, it's not I guess embossed, it's a raised Justice League Unlimited logo. And then you've got the foot stands here. Now, I'll bring in a couple of figures just so you guys can see how they work. We've got Fire here. One of the nicest, to this date, one of my nicest, in my opinion at least, one of the nicest female figures. Nice detail there. Of course, most female figures, aside from the few like Supergirl, usually have holes in their one foot, and as you can see, there's a peg, so you can take the figure, peg it into place, and there. Whoa! Sure enough, as I peg it in, it falls. But there you have Fire on a very nice display stand. As such, you can also take the figure foot, and on the side here obviously you'll see there's these raised, I want to say they're like plastic slippers. But you can actually take the female figure and make sure you actually put it in the right side. Surprisingly enough, some people might put it on the one side. You want to put it on the smaller side for the female foot, and you just basically slide it into place. If you get it just right, you kind of have to lean them back ever so slightly. But if you get it just right, the figure, again, stands really well. So some female figures, again, won't have that peg, that hole in the foot for the peg, but you can also slide it in to the female end, little slipper there. So there is a female figure. Just take her out. We'll bring in a male figure. We've got here Adam. Nice, again, a nicely sculpted figure from the Justice League Unlimited line. Now, most male figures, if not all of them, won't have holes in their feet. So you're going to say, well, you know, you can't really peg it into place, and then that's why they've got the male side. I just wanted to try it. No, it definitely doesn't fit very well in the female at all. You're going to have to, if you were to put it in there, you'd have to force it in. The male side is a little bit larger. And again, it's just a case of slipping the foot in. Kind of like Cinderella. Just slip the foot in. And it's just the right size. It's a little bit larger because some male figures seem to have a little bit larger feet than others. The Atom here is, I think, some of the figures that have these smaller feet. Atom is one of them. But you just slide it into place, and there you have Atom. It's not completely snug. Obviously, as you can see, the figure will fall a bit. You kind of have to have the figure leaning back. Some of the larger foot figures, I think like Martian Manhunter and whatnot, will probably fit a little easier on these stands than others. But at the end of the day, it seems to still hold the figure, and putting them on display, like I said, you just have to lean them back a slight bit, but you've got Atom on his display stand. The only strike I would really give these stands is the fact that they're nice display stands, but unfortunately, because they've accommodated the logo of the Justice League Unlimited, they're slightly larger than I think what they could be or what they should have been. These foot stands should have been a little closer together, and you could have probably reduced the size of the stand to about that. Obviously, for how large these stands are versus how large these figures are, to put the figure in the stand, you got a lot of this excess waste. So imagine having, 25 stands, 25 figures. You can't really have them next to one another because you have all this excess space on the one side. So that's one of the only things I really would have changed. Is it would have been nice. They really should have brought these closer together than what they did. They did it obviously to promote the Justice League logo in the middle, but I think that's the one thing I would have changed about these stands. That aside, great stands, and really something that they should have done with the DC Universe too, because I believe the DC Universe only have a single peg. Some figures, much like Justice League Unlimited figures, don't have holes in their feet, so they should have accommodated that in those stands too. Would I recommend these stands? I would. Despite their size, despite the fact that some of the figures do stand well in them, some of them do get a little loose here. These are stands worth getting because not all your figures, again, are going to stand very well on their own. Some do, some don't. These stands certainly will fix that issue with the figures that don't want to stand. So that was a toy spot. Today we were looking at the MattyCollector.com Justice League Unlimited stands, and despite their size, still worth picking up. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for many more toy spots to come, and I will see you guys next time. Later.